A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant development, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump announced on Friday that they are abandoning negotiations for a ceasefire with Hamas in Gaza. Both leaders expressed that it has become evident that the Palestinian militants are not interested in reaching a deal. Netanyahu stated that Israel is now exploring alternative options to achieve its objectives, which include securing the release of hostages held by Hamas and putting an end to the militant group's governance in Gaza. Trump echoed this sentiment, suggesting that Hamas leaders would be hunted down. This shift in stance appears to eliminate any immediate prospects for resuming negotiations aimed at pausing the ongoing conflict, especially as international concern grows over the escalating humanitarian crisis in Gaza. French President Emmanuel Macron announced that France would be the first major Western nation to officially recognize an independent Palestinian state, a move that has drawn criticism from both Israel and the United States. Britain and Germany have stated that they are not yet prepared to follow suit. The ceasefire discussions, which have been taking place in Qatar, faced setbacks after Israel and the U.S. withdrew their delegations just hours after Hamas submitted a response to a truce proposal. Initial reports suggested that the Israeli withdrawal was merely for consultations and did not indicate a breakdown in talks. However, Netanyahu's comments on Friday indicated a hardening of Israel's position. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff attributed the deadlock to Hamas's unwillingness to negotiate, a claim that was contested by senior Hamas official Bassem Naim, who stated that the talks had been constructive and criticized Witkoff's remarks as an attempt to pressure Israel. The proposed ceasefire would entail a 60-day suspension of hostilities, allow for increased humanitarian aid to Gaza, and facilitate the release of some of the 50 hostages held by militants in exchange for Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. However, disagreements over the extent of Israeli troop withdrawals and the future of Gaza beyond the 60-day period have stalled progress. Israeli far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich declared on social media that the negotiations with terrorists were over, urging Netanyahu to pursue a path to victory. The humanitarian situation in Gaza has reached alarming levels, with reports of mass starvation affecting the 2.2 million residents of the territory. International aid organizations have warned that food supplies are dwindling, exacerbated by Israel's restrictions on aid deliveries. The Israeli military announced on Friday that it would allow countries to airdrop humanitarian supplies into Gaza, a move Hamas dismissed as a publicity stunt. Ismail Al-Thawabta, director of the Hamas-run media office in Gaza, emphasized the need for a consistent flow of aid trucks to support the besieged population. Tragically, Gaza's medical authorities reported that 9 more Palestinians succumbed to malnutrition or starvation in the past 24 hours, adding to the growing death toll. The Israeli government maintains that it has allowed sufficient food into Gaza and accuses the United Nations of failing to distribute it effectively. On the ground, Israeli airstrikes and gunfire continue to claim lives, with Palestinian health officials reporting at least 21 fatalities on Friday alone, including 5 individuals killed in a strike on a school sheltering displaced families. The situation has drawn international condemnation, with journalists in Gaza expressing fears for their safety amid ongoing violence. Israel's military offensive, which began after Hamas-led fighters attacked Israeli towns near the border on October 7th, has resulted in a staggering death toll in Gaza, with estimates suggesting nearly 60,000 casualties. The Israeli government has criticized Macron's recognition of Palestinian statehood, labeling it a reward for terrorism. While Western nations have historically supported the idea of a Palestinian state, they have insisted that it should emerge from a negotiated peace process. Both Britain and Germany have reiterated their commitment to Israel's security and have no immediate plans to recognize a Palestinian state. As the humanitarian crisis deepens, calls for an immediate ceasefire are intensifying, with leaders urging a focus on alleviating the suffering of the Gazan people. The international community watches closely as tensions escalate and the prospects for peace seem increasingly distant. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.